Happy days. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Berry Toffees view from the other side. Tonight, I have the pleasure of talking to Nathan, who's from the Irish Crystal Palace Supporters Club. Nathan, how are you, mate?
I'm very good, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Not too bad. Let's start it off. How's your summer been? Are you happy with your transfers and your ins and outs?
I think when you look at the business that we've done, you can't really moan because we've kept most of the core players we had last season, bar Wan-Bissaka, which, to be fair, 50 million quid for a player that had 18 months of Premier League football. Hard to turn that kind of money down. And obviously, we'll get onto the big one in a second, but the most business we've done, it's decent. I mean, James McCarthy, obviously, a talking point for both of us, is a very good bit of business, and interested to see how he'll link up in our midfield. But it could have been better, but it could always have been worse. So you can't be too moaning because that's not really the Palace way, really. You know, we back our team to the hill. And as I know Everton fans do, of course.
Yeah, that's very true. The one that did stand out to me was Gary Cahill. I thought that was a right steal. And was that on a free as well?
Yeah, so Gary Cahill got released by Chelsea, and because obviously Roy Hodgson was the England manager and he gave Gary Cahill, I think, his most consistent run in the national team, he kind of knew if he stays in London, he's got a number of clubs to choose from because London's full of football clubs, but there's only 5 in the Premier League. And of those 5, West Ham and Palace aren't in Europe, so therefore he'll get more game time playing for a Palace or a West Ham. West Ham don't need him. Palace could certainly do with another centre-back because we're still without James Tompkins for a little bit. Not too sure if Mamadou Sakho is back to where we want him to be, so it made sense to go and get him in a 2-year deal for 75 grand a week. It's not great, it's not terrible, but I think it's a good addition.
No, I do. I personally think it's a steal, and he's got experience as well. And when he was at Bolton as well, he's got that experience of, you know, no disrespect to Palace, but fighting down that end of the table. So he'll always put his head on the line for you.
None taken.
Sorry?
None taken at all. I mean, no offence taken. I mean, look, the highest we finished since we've been back in the top flight, I think, was 10th or 11th.
Yeah.
So we're not really familiar with the upper echelons of the league table. But to be fair, when we got promoted, finishing 17th was the target. So, you know, we kind of know where our barometer is. We can't really push on like, say, Everton or Wolves, who've been able to finance a lot of changes to the team. But maybe one day. But for now, we know where we are, and I think most of our realistic fans know we can't necessarily talk about Europa League when we don't have the squad to play in the bloody Carabao Cup at this point.
Yeah. Would you look at the Carabao Cup as being something to aim for? Do Crystal Palace fans look at the League Cup and the FA Cup and think, you know what, we've got a chance here, let's have a look at that as a starting point for us, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you know, and you'll know this as an Everton fan, people like to deride the cups and say, oh, they're a waste of time, what have you. But look, if you win the cup, it's there to show for the rest of the time. Obviously, for Everton fans, it would shut the noisy neighbours up.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You know, for us, we've had Charlton lord it over us. They have a cup. Millwall got to a cup final in 2004. We got to one, obviously, 12 years after them.
Yeah.
But you know, cup finals for us come every 26 years, and we've only had 2 FA Cup finals. Lost both of them to Man United, but we didn't expect to get to the cup final both years.
You put Tottenham out last year, I think I can remember right. Is that right? Was it 2-0?
Yes, we did. That was a surprise because Connor Wickham scored. I thought, oh bloody hell, he's still alive, because we haven't seen Connor Wickham for hide nor hair. He's very much the forgotten man at Palace. But to be fair to Wickham, he's been sharp in pre-season, so hopefully this will be his season where he kicks on.
Yeah. No, when I seen that result pop up, I did think, you know, Crystal Palace could be dark horses there. When I seen Tottenham go out, it did cross my mind. I thought, you know, maybe Palace could be there or thereabouts. Who did you go out to after that? When you went out after Tottenham, who did you go out to last season in the FA Cup in the end?
Oh Lord, Watford.
Watford it was, yeah. Well, even they've become a little bit of a rival to us now, Watford. There's a bit of bad blood there at the minute, especially with us taking Silva, Richarlison last season. We were heavily linked with Decore as well, but they were just asking for too much, and I think Everton walked away. As for sorry?
I was going to say, don't even start me on Watford. You should see the gripe they give us for the Championship playoff final in 2013 and then the Cup semi-final 3 years later. Honestly, one game, Zaha won a penalty where he was fouled. The other one, Watford failed to clear a very easy ball from a Pat Soiree cross. It's like, not our fault that you fell asleep in 2 defensive moments at your end of the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, come on.
Yeah.
And they're two similar sized clubs. It's not like Watford and Palace are esteemed top clubs. Like literally both clubs were favourites to be relegated the year we both got to the playoff final.
Yeah. They've also, I believe, changed the anthem that they come out to. They no longer have the Z cars because they don't want to have any affiliation towards Everton. That sort of made me laugh a little bit, but there you go. Yeah, as for our transfers,
they're that petty club, mate. You know.
Yeah, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. As for our transfers, I'm reasonably pleased with who we brought in. Early on, we brought in Jonas Lossell from Huddersfield. I think he had a good season last year at Huddersfield. He's obviously not going to be a starter at Everton with Jordan Pickford in there. Fabian Delph.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry?
No, I said of course he won't. You know, you've got Pickford, he'll more or less he'll be your backup keeper.
Yeah, I think he's just there to keep him on his toes. Fabian Delph, I thought, was a good little steal for us for 8 million as well. What wasn't a bad buy. I think he'll slot in there. I don't think he'll start. In saying that, we didn't get Zuma over the line, so maybe the new lad we brought in, Jean Philippe, will slot in at centre back, and Fabian Delph maybe into the midfield. The young lad Moise Keane, who we brought in, he's only 19. We brought him in from Juventus for 24 million. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The one I'm a little bit upset about is obviously Wilfried Zaha. I think Palace done brilliant there to keep hold of him. Credit to you for keeping hold of him.
Well, I mean, you know, we did say to anyone interested, pay the money and he's yours. We've never once said, if you don't pay what we want, forget it. We've always said, if you pay the money, you can have him. We've never once said that, if you pay 70 million, that's not good enough. We've said, if you pay 80 million, he's yours, because that's the price we've set. Am I saying he's an 80 million pound player? Absolutely not. His best output in terms of goals and assists was last season at 10 and 5, which for me is pretty poor. But to be fair to him, we're overly reliant on him, because there are players in our team that have either been past it or they're just not stepping up. Townsend, apart from his worldie against City and a few of the goals he scored last season, he had the game in him, but then he goes missing. Max Meyer didn't quite settle in because he came in late last season, but there's big talk that he could really gel this season. Benteke is just an amazing flop for a club record signing, but to be fair to him, you know, he has come back a bit sharper this year, so hopefully he's put all that behind him.
Yeah.
But obviously with Zaha, because obviously this is what you want to talk about, I don't begrudge him the move, because some Palace fans think that, because he signed a 5-year contract, he's dead loyal. I said, listen, if you're offered a job at another company for more money and you've got a better chance of a promotion at that club, that job, you run at it.
Yeah.
So, do I blame him for wanting to move on? Absolutely not. I think his conduct could have been a bit better, handing a transfer request before the deadline. But in fairness to him, he felt Palace was standing in his way. So, am I happy we've kept him? Yes. But I want to see how he reacts to that, because he's got to prove to other clubs he's still the player that they wanted to sign in the summer. Because you saw Arsenal tried to do a Luis Suarez on us. They may as well have handed us the extra £1 just to add salt into the wound. You know, at least with Everton, you did put some money forward and say, look, here's what we're prepared to do. We just happened to turn it down. But I think, you know, if Zaha does go in January, which is possible, we just have to get the best deal we can. Admittedly, it's going to be probably at a cut price fee, but the 20% sell-on fee to Man United didn't help, because in the Wan-Bissaka deal, we should have had that stricken off. But to be fair to us, our chairman is just totally inept, and as for our director of football, don't get me started.
Right, yeah. It got to 12 o'clock today and it sort of died down a little bit, the rumour, and I thought, I don't think Everton are going to get the man. I totally agree with you. I think Everton should have paid what Palace wanted. If they did want Zaha, they should have just coughed up the dollar and paid for it. We've seen it in the last few days with Harry Maguire. United chased him all summer, and Leicester said what they wanted, and United just didn't pay it, and then at the last minute they've paid it. I think Everton should have just paid what we
did the same with Wan-Bissaka, actually, because they tried to lowball us for him, and we said, listen, 50 million, take him. We haven't stood in any player's way to leave
Yeah.
But I think Zaha, and obviously there was this talk about his brother talking to the Evening Standard and all this. It's just like, this is not helping.
Yeah.
Because Zaha is very much revered in the same sense that, Leighton Baines and players that have been at Everton a long time. Zaha came through the club at Palace.
Yeah.
So, he's burning his bridges.
Yeah, he's been there a long time, hasn't he? And he gets the club and he understands the club. And I think he did do things the right way, to be honest. He hasn't come out really at any point and gone, look, I want to go to Everton, you're holding me back, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. He's got his head down.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely, Chris. I'm not saying that he's gone about it the wrong way. It's just when his brother is talking in the press and everything, it doesn't reflect good on him because... we know that Wilfred's a quiet lad. I mean, look, what happened at Man United scarred him. He came back to Palace. There was a lot of pressure on him to come back to Palace because this wasn't the Wilfred Zaha we saw off at the Championship playoff final. This is a damaged Wilfred Zaha, and we've had to rebuild him into the player now that everyone's talking about. And to be fair, it's brilliant because he owes us nothing. We owe him nothing. So if he left, I'm not one of those fans who's going to go, oh, he's a Judas, this, that, and the other. It's like, no, he's not. The man gave us everything.
Yeah.
Let him go and let him be ambitious because let's be fair. Yeah. Is he one of the best players outside the top six alongside the Vardys and Sigurdssons? Absolutely.
Yeah,
the problem is he's not got players around him at Palace that can help him thrive.
Yeah, he's the best player outside, like you said there, the top six at the minute, like that. That's knocking about. That's raising eyebrows. The thing with me is, if we would have, Palace did you want 80 million for him? Was it 85 million? 80 million? Was it?
To be honest, the press never get it right. I mean, you only have to look at Sky Sports News and the amount of blunders they pulled. But what we were told was it was around the £80 million mark. So, and obviously, in different currencies, it's going to be €100 million and all this business. But that's what we were told to believe was the price the Palace had set, because it was made clear we weren't going to sell both Wan-Bissaka and Zaha in the same window, because selling one player is hard enough, but selling two key players that we've both brought to our academy, it's like, I don't really think that's ideal. It'd be like Everton selling Seamus Coleman. You're thinking, where's the logic? Why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There are players you just can't afford to let go of unless a massively insane deal comes through.
I can see where Palace wanted to keep him. I think at this late stage as well, if you would have let him go, I do think maybe it would have been a really hard season for you. Would you have got anyone else in time? I don't know. I don't think you would have got anyone in time with up to Zaha's calibre. And I think the other thing as well is what put Everton off was if we're paying 80 million, is Wilfred Zaha going to take Everton to that next step where we need to go?
That's right.
And
100%.
And you look at them across the park. They paid that much for Van Dijk. He come in and he changed them completely. He changed Liverpool completely. Van Dijk. He did take them to the next step. That lad, as much as it kills me. So I think Everton have looked at it and gone, he might not take us to that next step where we need to be. I think we might go in for him again at Christmas. Could be a little bit of a lower bid. It'll give you time as well to get someone in maybe at Christmas, or look at someone as a replacement for him from now until Christmas, or he'll go to Arsenal. Yeah. He could go to Arsenal.
Oh, you see, the thing is, the last time we saw the players at Arsenal was Ian Wright, and that did not end well. So I know that Zaha's an Arsenal fan, but a lot of Palace fans of that generation aren't keen on Arsenal taking our best players, because it's fine with Everton because Andy Johnson went and it didn't work out for him, but Palace and Everton have a very good relationship.
What a hero Andy Johnson was. He's still my hero now. He settled in really well at Everton, and he scored against Watford, I think, in his first game for Everton. His first goal was against Watford.
There you go. He's a cult hero for both of us now.
Yeah, that's it. So moving forward, last season, Zaha 10 goals he got for you last season. Townsend, your midfield last season was banged quite a few goals in for you. Townsend 9, Schlupp 5, MacArthur 3, Mayer 2. Cracking midfield last season. Did it look that way when you were watching it, or is that just me going off numbers?
No. To be honest, Palace are a very weird club. We can outplay a team and lose 6-0 or 4-0 or 1-0, and we can play absolutely dross and smash someone 4 or 5-0. We're a very, very oxymoronic football club when it comes to how we play football.
Yeah.
There were times last season where we were literally walking all over teams and they'd beat us. I mean, I think we played you at Goodison, and even though we should have won, Everton snatched it from us because Palace fell asleep at the back and thought, we've got a point. And then all of a sudden, look at that, we're 1-0 down. Look at that, it's 2-0.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of these that goes, how did we bloody lose? Like, listen, Everton took their chances, or insert team A took their chances. We didn't. But the Man City game is the standout game for me because, yes, there's the win at Arsenal, and believe me, I couldn't believe that. But our record at the Etihad is absolutely atrocious, like a lot of teams.
Yeah.
There are a few teams that can go, we may lose here, but we don't always get thrashed here.
Yeah.
We were thinking if we could just keep the score down to 4, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Because we'd lost there something like 15 or 19-0 the last 4 visits. Please, no.
Yeah.
No more thumpings, please. I don't mind losing the City because they're a level above every team in the league, bar your neighbours.
Yeah.
Them two are now in a league of their own. And I know as a Blue you hate hearing that, but we have to be realistic.
True. And it's the league table doesn't lie. Liverpool are there because they're a good team. They prove that. They won the European Cup. They annoy me. I can't stand them. But I hate them just as much as the next Evertonian. But, they're a good side. It kills me saying that, like I said before. But, I don't think anyone's going to touch them this season. I just think them two are in a world of their own.
Yeah, they're in a different bracket. I mean, obviously, we've seen how City have done in the window, and you're just like, my God, could you just stop trying to literally make us all feel demoralised? But we actually look forward to watching our clubs play football, and now you're making us think, there's no point.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah.
We'll just give them the 6 points that they'll take off us and go, there you go, there's the league title, and we'll all just go on our holidays, go on the beach.
That's it, just crack on.
But, I mean, I think it's going to be important to see how a lot of teams fare. But I think with Everton and Palace, you've got ambitions of getting higher up into the top 6 because obviously the new stadium is coming, and may I say that looks incredible.
Yeah, it does.
Massively impressed because, for all the people like to talk about Goodison being Woodison and all this, I said, listen, give me Goodison Park over half the stadiums in the Premier League any day. Yeah. I've been to many of the Premier League stadiums that have come up from the Championship on like plastic seats, plastic atmosphere.
Yeah.
Everton may not be a glamorous ground. Sorry, Goodison may not be a glamorous ground, but you know what it has? It's got atmosphere and history. You can't ever replicate that in a new shiny little bowl.
Yeah, and it's gonna be emotional. That on my last, I'm sitting in the Gladys Street. I've got a season ticket there in the lower Gladys, and it's got. I tell you what, it's gonna be emotional. The last game there, sitting in there when we have to.
It always is when you leave a spiritual home. I mean, we're talking about renovating our ground, which is an absolute. It's literally a TARDIS of football stadiums because we've got the 20s. 80s, 60s, and the 90s in one football ground. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But there you go.
But it's one of them. It's got the, if not one of the best atmospheres in the country.
Yeah.
And that is, them lads that crack on all game there for 90 minutes and probably before the game singing on the feet all the way through it. That's what makes Crystal Palace hard to beat. Is the ground, and the fans.
There was controversy with that with the fanatics that you're mentioning there because last season they wanted to move from where they were in the corner to behind the goal.
Right.
And obviously, as you know, as a season ticket holder, if somebody's telling you to move out of your seat so that a sing station can be done, you're not going to be keen on that unless you get a fair compensation package.
Yeah.
And our home form suffered massively last season. I think we were in the bottom 6.
I think you won 5 at home, drew 5, lost 5. One. Sorry, I do apologise. 1-5, drew 5, and lost 9 at home last season.
There you go. And you look at it, and one of those losses was to our arch rivals, and believe me, nothing insensibly more than losing to them down on the south coast, Brighton. I mean, why them? Anyone but them. I will happily get told by Liverpool, City, Spurs, West Ham, anyone. It's not them.
Yeah.
And it was Glenn Murray. It's just like, it just can't get any more painful.
Yeah.
But, obviously this palaver with the fanatics doesn't help. But looking towards this game now on Saturday, I'd like to say say that, Palace are going to be up for it, but you just don't know with us on the home game, the first game of the season, because we had Huddersfield 2 years ago, got tonked 3-0.
Yeah.
And everyone looked at that and went, Palace will smash them. No, we got smashed. And that was under the Frank de Boer era. Please don't ask me about that. I'm still suffering from PTSD nightmares from that one.
Well, the game on Saturday, I think it'll be a pretty tight affair, to be honest. First game of the season, obviously a lot of players are going to be feeling the legs and all that, and getting the legs going and things. So I do think it's going to be quite tight myself. I don't think it's going to be as open as what a few people think. I do think it'll be a draw myself. I
don't think we've actually beaten you at home in the league since we've been promoted. I think we've only drawn or lost.
Yeah,
I think the only teams to not have lost to us at home in the league since we've been in the division is yourselves and Man United. We've beaten every other team that we've faced in the top flight. Admittedly in different seasons, but I was just thinking, fair play to Everton, because whenever Everton come to tell us, it's never, Everton aren't a team you don't want to watch.
Yeah.
But you're a functional team. You're not trying to play football that you can't afford to play. But you're not trying to just put 10 men behind the ball and go, right lads, just sit back and just hold the pressure.
Yeah.
Because when teams do that, and I know we were guilty of that when we first came up, it's just like, what's the point in paying £45 for this?
Yeah.
Well, where's the value for money? But with Everton, I've always found Everton aren't always the fashionable club where you can just play really sexy football.
Yeah.
But what you do brilliantly is, you know where you are. You don't think, we're going to win this, that. No, if we win a cup, great. If we don't, it's just classic Everton.
Yeah.
But playing Everton as a Palace fan, it's never a case of, oh God, it's Everton, we're going to lose. But knowing us, we probably will lose, but they'll give us a game. There's a good bit of a banter between us and the away fans, because Everton's away support at Selhurst, it always gets applauded.
Yeah.
You're one of the few travelling fan bases that we never feel like we have to kind of G up ourselves. No, these boys will give us a good bit of banter, but it's never vicious. Like your neighbours throwing flares on the pit. Now, if that was us at Anfield, all hell will break loose. Yeah. Like, you can't throw flares at Anfield. You can't throw. It is into our place. Nothing doing.
They do tend to play on that card, don't they? Getting back there when you said that you haven't beat us for a while at Palace. The last time Palace beat Everton was at Selhurst Park, and it was in October '94, and Andy Priest was it scored the win.
I was around 2 years old at that time, so I can't tell you.
That was back then. And you were right. Most of the games have been draws, believe it or not, at Selhurst Park. We had the odd win. But yeah, going back to 1994, that was the last time. But yeah, I do think it's going to be a tight game. I don't think any of our new purchases will start. Maybe Gomez. I think Gomez will go into the midfield alongside Tom Davis. I think at the back it'll be Yerry Mina with Michael Keane, Luca Dean and Seamus Coleman on the right. I think it'll be Richarlison up front, Sigurdsson playing just off him. I think it'll be Bernard will go on the left, and on the right, I think he might. Do you know what? I think he might throw Fabian Delph out there. I don't know what makes me think that. But yeah, or Walcott, and Walcott's just not the one. He's just not the answer. I thought we would have brought a right winger in, but we didn't. Silva was on about this. He wanted a right winger with a left foot and a left winger with a right foot, and that right side worries me, and it's going to worry me on Saturday as well. Coleman, I love him to bits, but when he got that bad injury, he never recovered from it. He never recovered from that injury, and he sort of lost that yard. So yeah, I think our right
I'll be
side.
truthful. Our left side is not particularly as menacing as you may think. And I know as an Evertonian, you're naturally predisposed to being a bit, apprehensive. But Jeff Schlupp, when he's fit, and I'm not sure if he'll start because he got injured at the end of last season, and I'm not sure if he's still ready. I mean,
had a good season last year.
Saturday.
Had a good season last year.
Yeah, he really did. He was one of those Sam Allardyce signings that we knew he was brought in for defensive cover, but him and Van Aanholt are very, very different kind of fullbacks, and Schlupp has been played more as a left mid now, rather than as a left back. But Aanholt, for all of his great attacking prowess, can't defend. He must be a giraffe in disguise when it comes to defending.
Yeah.
He is just hopeless. And that is not a critique of him, it's just every time I watch them, I'm like, please give us a left-footed Wan-Bissaka from our academy. I would kill for that.
Yeah,
I just want a defensive left-back for one. Because I like Van Aanholt, but he makes me nervous.
Yeah.
And
I can see that. I can see where you're coming from there with that one, yeah.
But you mentioned your lineup. I assume we won't particularly play most of our new signings, with the exception of probably Jordan Ayew, because he played for us last season and he's settled into the team. Because we lost Wan-Bissaka, it's probably going to be Guaita in goal. Hopefully not Wayne Hennessy. Oh God, please not Wayne Hennessy. Please no. Guaita in goal. A back four of Joel Ward, ex-Red Martin Kelly. Go easy on him. He's actually all right. He's not the worst.
He's not the worst one to come out
probably
of there.
Mamadou Sakho.
Yeah.
Patrick Van Aanholt left back. Midfield would definitely consist of MacArthur and Milivojevic, and maybe Max Meyer a little bit ahead of them.
MacArthur.
Schlupp left, Townsend right, and maybe Ayew up top or Benteke up top. But I would have hoped, and I know I didn't get the transfer, we could have got Batshuayi. Had Chelsea not had a transfer ban, I think that would have appeased a lot of fans than losing Zaha. But
what do you think of him, Michy Batshuayi? Now, he was heavily linked with Everton a few times and we never ever followed through with it. Do you rate him? Is he any good? Has he got potential, or is he just awful?
He's actually very good. It's just when he went to Chelsea, a lot was expected of him because, as you know, Chelsea, for every Didier Drogba, they get a Andrei Shevchenko or a Alvaro Morata.
Yeah.
They can spend all the money they want on a so-called world-class striker, but they need to put the ball in the net. And Batshuayi never really got a fair dig at Chelsea.
Yeah.
He was loaned out here, there, and everywhere. And when it came to Palace, we were in urgent need of just a centre-forward with a presence, because we've got 3 strikers who, between them, have managed 4 goals, and all of them came to Benteke.
Yeah.
And Palace fans crucified Benteke, but Wickham is a sick note, and Alexander Stoller is £9 million that I don't know how Dougie Freedman was allowed to spend that, because he needs to be shot for that. That's a crime against humanity for spending that much money on a player that's just brutally hopeless. Not to demean the lad, but
Benteke should start every time he plays against Everton, because he always seems to have a good game against Everton. Benteke, all the time, every season, all the time.
Yeah. Well, the same could be said for Umar Nias. He just loves playing against Palace.
Oh, God. Umar. Jesus. Oh, God. Where do you start with him? Well, there is no start with him. He never did start, did he? He was... I think he's going to Turkey on loan or something, Trabzonspor, till the end of the season. The lad had heart. The lad had passion, but he didn't have any skill at all.
Look,
he done a lot of running. He was like that. It was like that dog that you have that runs round, and you open the door and it runs out, and then someone comes round and it jumps all over you. You love the dog, but you know you've got to get rid of it. That is what Umar Niasse was.
Yeah, I mean, you should have seen some of the players we've had. I mean, we had Yaya Sanogo on loan a few years back, and honestly, I was thinking, how on earth does this man play for Arsenal?
Yeah.
Was Arsene Wenger drinking bleach? He must have been, because he was appalling.
Yeah.
People love to slate Giroud, and I'm not Giroud's biggest fan, but I'm thinking, at least with Giroud, you knew what you got. Giroud would make himself known. Sanogo was banana skins on his feet every time he was on the pitch. It was just like, he laced his boots with banana grease or something. What on earth is he doing?
Yeah.
People throw the diver brand at Zaha and Richarlison. Sanogo fell off the floor. I think Tom Daly would dive into a swimming pool. I was like, what? Get up. Come on, get up.
Yeah. I think it'll be tight Saturday, and I am gonna go for my final thought. I'm gonna go for. I'd love the 3 points, but I think it's gonna be a 1-1 draw on Saturday. Nathan, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, Palace are making predictions. This is going in one way. I'd love to say a home win, because it would really change the mood around the ground, because home wins, first game of the season are sparse. But knowing our record against Everton, it's not ideal to play them first game of the season. Admittedly, first game of the season that you can never truly predict it. But I'm going to say the same as yourself, a 1-1 draw, because I think if we can just avoid a defeat and then take it into Sheffield United the next week, weekend.
Yeah.
That'll be decent because Sheffield United is a much more appealing fixture for us to go, right, we can't underestimate them, but that's a more winnable fixture for us because Everton, we're not level as such, but neither are we miles behind Everton and then miles ahead of us.
Yeah.
You are ahead of us, but, we've been in the league long enough now where we can't say, Everton are centuries above us. You're like, no, they're still above us, then they will be.
Yeah.
But a few more years, both of us could be very much a lot higher in the table because if that new Super League comes, which I hope it does,
oh, well, that
actually might be time for us to win some silverware because the whole big boys will bugger off, and that's what we want because we don't want them in the league anymore.
I'm not even going to entertain that Super League myself. But yeah, I do. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw on Saturday. I'm going to stick my neck out there on that one. A 1-1 draw. I'd love the 3 points. I think Everton will go there after the 3 points. I think if Everton get an early goal, I think
both teams will go for the win, but we'll cancel each other out because the one thing that both our managers are good at is if the game isn't won by, say, the 70th minute, Marco Silva's famous for not trying to commit suicide and go all-out attack. Roy Hodgson is scared to death of making subs, so he'll protect what he has and go, right, just don't muck it up. Just play it safe and just keep Everton very much in the middle. If we can keep each other in the middle, we'll both take a point. Because look, let's be fair. We both looked at this fixture and thought, not a bad way to start the season, not dead easy, and you're thinking, we'll snot them. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, all right, this could be an interesting one, because I always said, Everton, home or away, you can't predict it, but you're looking forward to it, because it's never a dull game. And when it is 0-0, it's always, how was that 0-0?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's just hope it's a good game, and it's not that typical opening day of the season. You know what I'm saying? Typical home game.
Oh yeah, of course. But I think both teams are entertaining on their day, and some of the players both teams have, when they feel like it, can really open the game up. But it just depends on how each team sets up. I think Everton, by rights, will look to get the win because let's face it, away from home, travelling fans coming a long way down from all over the country, mainly from Liverpool. You'll want to have a few beers. Sing a few songs and see can the Blues push up us for the Eagles. We just want to start the season better at home than we have done the last few years, as I said before. So I agree with you when I say it probably will be a draw, but hopefully we both want a win, obviously for our respective teams. But hopefully it's a good season for us both. Yeah,
and the last thing I wanted to say is if there's any Blues going down there, where's nice to go for a drink, a neutral pub? Do you know anywhere around the ground, anywhere, or a few miles from the ground?
Yeah, a lot of the pubs around the ground are home fans only. Right. So the only pubs I know that would be open to away fans would probably be the one near Thornton Heath train station. Also, any Blues fans travelling down to London, do not get on a train to Crystal Palace. You will be miles away from the ground.
Right, okay.
Norwood Junction, Thornton Heath, or Selhurst are the only three stations you need to get to the ground by train.
Cool. And if there is any Palace fans listening from the Everton side, which will be a bit weird, whereabouts, if they go over to Northern Ireland, are they looking for the pub, for the Palace?
I'm actually in the Republic of Ireland.
Oh, the Republic, right, so you're not in the occupied territory.
No. We're in the... I'm speaking to you from Dublin at the moment, so... but if any Palace fans that are listening wanted to come and hang out with the Irish Palace, you can find us in Dublin, Cork. You do find some of us in Belfast, but it just depends. I can get you in contact with people. We also have a friendship with the Irish Toffees, so any Everton fans that are coming to Dublin, be sure to drop the Irish Toffees a message. They'll be sure to look after you.
Yeah.
And... hopefully it'll be a good season for both the Toffees and the Eagles.
Yeah, let's hope so, yeah. There's also the Emerald Toffees as well, who've just started up there, based in Dublin, and they drink in Harry's Bar in Dublin. So if there's any Blues listening to that, have a little look at that. If you're in Dublin, pop down to Harry's Bar and ask for Sean or Ed Livo, two good characters there. Right, it's time for us to say goodbye. So those of you that are listening, thanks a lot. It is going to be coming every away opponent that we get, and it's also building bridges for supporters clubs. Thanks for listening. Cheers. It was View from the Other Side. Cheers.